Your Highness, ladies and gentlemen, in the name of the library trustees, I wish you a very warm welcome on this St. Patrick's Day. We are especially delighted that later in the program that your children will join us for a suite prepared by the students of the hotel school here in Monaco. How your mother would have loved to have been here to see her grandchildren enjoy St. Patrick's Day. Now, what do we celebrate today on St. Patrick's Day? Well, first and foremost, we celebrate the arrival in Ireland of an English monk in the year 500 who came to bring Christianity to the island. In today's celebration, but we also recall all the hereditary and literary and musical songs and dance and the love of sports and yes, even culinary delights of Ireland. I guess I should not forget to mention Guinness. Guinness is stout as well. You know that they established over 8,000 pubs around the world, from Manchuria to Tokyo, just about every city. And today, as we join millions around the world, remembering and giving thanks for our Irish heritage, I'll wager that here in this room and the people that we've been watching on television, there are many of us that have more than a few drops of Irish blood in our veins. And why is this, do you think? Why is such an unusual celebration? And I think that you have to consider that at the turn of last century, when so many, more than a fourth of the Irish population left the island and went to America, to Australia, England, and several other countries around the world, they populated the world with, today we say, over 70 million people have Irish blood. And they have especially the Irish culture that comes with that heritage. We are very fortunate here in Monaco today on this most unusual St. Patrick's Day with very few of us present, but everyone watching on television, I hope, in this pandemic time. We are going to celebrate by getting to hear some lovely Irish music and performed by the students of the Académie Rainier, and as well as a dramatic reading by Frank O'Connor of the Irish, of the Monaco-Irish Arts Society. So without any further ado, I'll introduce the musical program for today.
Molly, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone. As she wheeled her wheelbarrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, and sure 'twas no wonder, 'cause so was her father and mother before. And they wheeled their wheelbarrows through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She died of a fever, and no one could save her, and that was the end of sweet Molly Malone. Now her ghost wheels a barrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh.
The Majesty of the Law by Frank O'Connor. Old Dan Bride was breaking Brosna for the fire when he heard a step on the path. He paused, a bundle of saplings on his knees. Before the fire was stretched an old setter who raised his head expectantly whenever Dan rose or even stirred. He raised it now as the steps came nearer, and when Dan, laying down the bundle of saplings, cleaned his hands thoughtfully on the seat of his trousers, he gave a loud bark. A man's shadow fell across the oblong of dusty light thrown over the half door before Dan looked round.
Are you alone, Dan?
Oh, come in, Sergeant. Come in and welcome.
Exclaimed the old man, hurrying on rather uncertain feet to the door, which the policeman opened and pushed in.
Begad, Dan, 'tis younger you're getting.
Middlin' I am, Sergeant, middlin'. No complaints.
Begad, 'tis as well because no one would believe them. And the old dog doesn't look a day older.
And how's yourself, Sergeant?
Well now, like the most of us, Dan, neither too good nor too bad. We have our own little worries, but thanks be to God, we have our compensations.
And the wife and family?
Good, praise be to God, good. They were away from me for a month, the lot of them, at the mother-in-law's place in Clare.
Ah, in Clare, you tell me.
In Clare. I had a fine, quiet time.
Sit down now, Sergeant. You must be tired after the journey. 'Tis a long old road. How did you get here?
Tig Leary gave me the lift. Wish you now, Dan, don't be putting yourself out. I won't be stopping. I promised them I'd be back inside an hour.
What's the hurry on you? Look, your foot was only in the path when I made up the fire.
Ah, Dan, you're not making tea for me.
I am not making it for you, indeed. I'm making it for myself. And I'll take it very bad of you if you won't have a cup.
Dan, that I mightn't stir, but 'tisn't an hour since I had it at the barracks.
Ah, whisht now. Whisht, will you? I have something here that'll give you an appetite.
The old man swung the heavy kettle onto the chain over the open fire, and the dog sat up, shaking his ears with an expression of deepest interest. The old man went to the dresser and took down 2 handsomely decorated cups, the only cups he had, which, though chipped and handleless, were used at all only on very rare occasions. For himself, he preferred his tea from a basin. He wiped them inside and out till they shone. Then he bent and opened the cupboard. Inside was a quart bottle of pale liquid, obviously untouched. He removed the cork and smelt the contents, pausing for a moment in the act, as though to recollect where exactly he had noticed that particular smoky smell before. Then, reassured, he stood up and poured out with a liberal hand.
Try that now, Sergeant.
The sergeant, concealing whatever qualms he might have felt at the idea of drinking illegal whiskey, looked carefully into the cup, sniffed, and glanced at old Dan.
It looks good.
It should be good.
It tastes good too.
Asha, 'tis of no great excellence.
You'd be a good judge, I'd say.
Ever since things became what they are, liquor isn't what it used to be.
I've heard that remark made before now, Dan. I've heard it said by men of wide experience that it used to be better in the old days.
Liquor is a thing that takes time. There was never a good job done in a hurry.
'Tis an art in itself,
Just so.
and an art takes time.
And knowledge. Every art has its secrets. And the secrets of distilling are being lost in the way the old songs were lost. When I was a boy, there wasn't a man in the barony but that had 100 songs in his head. But with people running here and running there and everywhere, the songs were lost. Ever since things became what they are, there's so much running about, the secrets are lost.
There must be a power of them.
There was. Ask any man today what makes whiskey. Does he know how to make it out of heather?
And was it made of heather?
It was.
You never drank it yourself.
I didn't, but I knew an old man that did, and they told me that no whiskey that's made nowadays could compare to it.
Ah, Musha Dan, I think sometimes 'twas a great mistake of the law to set its hand against it.
Maybe so, maybe not.
But sure, what else have the poor people?
Them that makes the laws have their own good reasons.
All the same, Dan, all the same. 'Tis a hard law.
It's the secrets I'd be sorry for. Men die and men are born, and when one man drained, another will plough. But a secret lost is lost forever.
True. Lost forever.
Dan took his cup, rinsed it in a bucket of clear water by the door. Then he placed it carefully at the sergeant's elbow. From the dresser he took a jug of milk and a blue bag containing sugar. This he followed up with a slab of country butter and, a sure sign that he had been expecting a visitor, a round cake of homemade bread, fresh and uncut. The kettle sang and spat, and the dog, shaking his ears, barked at it angrily.
Go away, you brute!
He made the tea and filled the 2 cups. The sergeant cut himself a large slice of bread and buttered it thickly.
It's just like medicines. Every secret there was is lost. And leave no one tell me that a doctor is as good a man as the one that had the secrets of old times.
How could he be?
The proof of that was there to be seen when there were doctors and wise people in it together.
It wasn't to the doctors the people went, I'll engage.
It was not. And why? Out there on the hillsides, there's a sure cure for every disease. Because it is written. It is written by the poets. Wherever you find the disease, you'll find the cure. But people walk up the hills and down the hills, and all they see is flowers. Flowers! As if God Almighty, honour and praise to him, had nothing better to do with his time than to be making old flowers.
Things no doctor could cure, the wise people cured.
Ah, musha, 'tis I know it. I know it not in my mind, but in my own 4 bones.
Have you the rheumatics at you still?
I have. Ah, if you were alive, Kitty O'Hara, or you Nora Malley of the Glen, 'tisn't I'd be dreading the mountain wind or the sea wind. 'Tisn't I'd be creeping down with my misfortunate red ticket for their blue and pink and yellow dribble-drabble of their ignorant dispensary.
Why then indeed, I'll get you a bottle for that.
Ah, there's no bottle ever made'll cure it.
That's where you're wrong, Dan. Don't talk now till you try it. It cured my own uncle when he was that bad he was shouting for the carpenter to cut the 2 legs off him with a handsaw.
I'd give £5 to get rid of it. I would. And 500.
The sergeant finished his tea in a gulp, blessed himself and struck a match, which he then allowed to go out as he answered some question of the old man. Finally, he succeeded in getting his pipe alight, and the 2 men pulled round their chairs, placed their toes side by side in the ashes, and, in deep puffs, lively bursts of conversation, and long, long silences, enjoyed their smoke.
I hope I'm not keeping you.
Ah, and what you be keeping me from?
Well, tell me if I am. The last thing I'd like to do is waste another man's time.
Begar, you wouldn't waste my time if you stopped all night.
I like a little chat myself.
Twilight was descending outside when the sergeant rose to go, fastening his belt and tunic and carefully brushing his clothes. Then he put on his cap, tilted a little to side and back.
Well, that was a great talk.
'Tis a pleasure, a real pleasure.
And I won't forget the bottle for you.
Heavy handling from God to you.
Goodbye now, Dan.
Goodbye now, Sergeant, and good luck.
Dan didn't offer to accompany the sergeant beyond the door. He sat in his old place by the fire, took out his pipe once more, blew through it thoughtfully, and, just as he leaned forward for a twig to kindle it, heard the steps returning. It was the sergeant. He put his head a little way over the door.
Dan.
Aye, Sergeant.
I suppose you're not thinking of paying that little fine, Dan.
The way it is with me, Sergeant, I am not.
I was thinking that, Dan. I was thinking you wouldn't. In a way, that was what brought me.
I was just thinking so, Sergeant. It only struck me and you going out the door.
If it was only the money, Dan, I'm sure there's many would be glad to oblige you.
I know that, Sergeant. No. 'Tisn't the money so much as giving that fellow the satisfaction of paying. Because he angered me, Sergeant.
They gave me the warrant.
Did they so?
So whenever 'twould be convenient for you.
Well, now you mention it, I could go with you now.
Asha, what do you want going at this hour for?
Or I could go tomorrow.
Would it be suitable for you now?
But as a matter of fact, the day that would be most convenient for me would be Friday after dinner, because I have some messages to do in town, and I wouldn't have to do the journey for nothing.
Friday will do grand. If it doesn't, they can damn well wait. You could walk in there yourself when it suits you and tell them I sent you.
I'd rather have yourself there, Sergeant, if it would be of no inconvenience. As it is, I feel a bit shy.
Why, then you needn't feel shy at all. There's a man from my own parish there, a warder, one Whelan. Ask for him. I'll tell him you're coming, and I'll guarantee when he knows you're a friend of mine, he'll make you as comfortable as if you were at home.
I'd like that fine. I like to be with friends, Sergeant.
You will be. Never fear. Goodbye again now, Dan. I have to hurry.
Wait now. Wait till I see you to the road.
Together the two men strolled down the laneway, while Dan explained how it was that he, a respectable old man, had had the grave misfortune to open the head of another old man in such a way as to require his removal to hospital, and why it was that he couldn't give the old man in question the satisfaction of paying in cash for an injury brought about through the victim's own unmannerly method of argument.
You see, Sergeant, the way it is now, he's there now and he's looking at us sure as there's a glimmer of sight in his weak, wandering, watery eyes. And nothing would give him more gratification than for me to pay. But I'll punish him. I'll lie on bare boards for him. I'll suffer for him, Sergeant, so that neither he nor any of his children after him will be able to raise their heads for the shame of it.
On the following Friday, he made ready his donkey and butt and set out. On his way, he collected a number of neighbours who wished to bid him farewell. At the top of the hill, he stopped to send them back. An old man, sitting in the sunlight, hastily made his way indoors, and a moment later, the door of his cottage was quietly closed. Having shaken all his friends by the hand, Dan lashed the old donkey, shouted,
Up there!
and set out alone along the road to prison.
A lovely St. Patrick's Day performance. The music was really exceptional, and your students are to be commended, really. They've done a wonderful job, and the reading was So now I'd like to invite everyone to come in to see what the delights of the Lycée Technique and Hôtelier have prepared for us to celebrate today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.